So this is my table, and yes, we are finally going to work on this. So to prep up my base, here I have decided to use my white gesso. So yes, in this video, honestly, you will be seeing how I did blunder while doing this video with my decoupage work, and this is actually a very good way of learning for you guys that what happens when you do not use your tissue papers wisely. So yes, please do check this video till end to see my mistake and learn from that. Okay, so here I'm using a white color gesso with my sponge dauber. All the supplies are mentioned in the video description box. You can check that with all the links to buy them. And yes, here I'm going to have good 2-3 coats of gesso. So as the surface is very big, by the time I was like finishing up the last corner of the table, my first corner of the table was dried out. So yeah, that's the reason it was super easy for me. I did not have to use my heat gun to dry this up. So yeah, this really took me a time to make this video, but I absolutely loved it. Now this is a beautiful napkin which I was really holding from such a long time because I wanted to use this from like something special, like something new project. So yeah, finally I used this one. Now of course I cannot do a typical fussy cutting work for this decoupage work, so I have just cut them broadly. Now here you are seeing me removing all the layers, and once I'm done with removing all the layers, I'm going to stick this. Now for sticking this, I am using my Mod Podge. The Mod Podge is the matte finish which I really like. So if you want to go for glossy ones, you can absolutely try that too. Now I will be cutting all the excessive papers with my scissor. Now there are two options. Either you can pre-cut all the sizes, which I'll be doing later on. I really realized this a little later that I should have cut them into the strips so that my work is easier, but then no worries, even this process was also not that difficult for me. So yes, first I'm applying 1 coat of Mod Podge. Now why I'm using my Mod Podge? Because it sticks your napkins really well. There is a huge difference in Fevicol and Mod Podge. Once you start using it, then you will realize it. So yes, do try it out, and I'm sure you are going to love the Mod Podge for this particular reason, that it let your projects be there for a very longer time. Now the second thing is why I have used my white color gesso at the base, because it preps up all your bases really well. Because honestly, whenever we buy any bases, they are not prepped up. Like when we say prepping up, it means having a nice smooth surface before doing your decoupage and your mixed media art, and all surface cannot hold all the colors and the mediums whatever we use. Like later on, if you'll see in this video, we'll be doing a lot of color blending techniques. So yes, for the base to hold the colors, for the bases to have all the colors beautifully, it is required to prep up your base. Now as like whenever I'm doing my mixed media art, I try to have the black color gesso, because that really works out well for the kind of color combinations I work on. I do use white gesso also, but then it depends on mostly with the kind of projects we are doing. But for the decoupage, 99.9% it is white gesso for me, which works out really well. So likewise, I'm going to stick all my papers and my decoupage napkin, and you can see that by now I have already cut them into strips so that it's easier for me, and I will just keep on sticking them completely. Now with the sponge dauber, I'm going to give it a good press from the sides also, so that whatever portion which has not sticked well, it will stick well to my base. And just be a little careful, you need to make sure that your sponge dauber is dry. So now this is honestly day 2. I just let it dry for one complete night, and this has dried out really well. And now here I have taken up a sandpaper. If you want, you can even use your nail filers. That also works really well. If you have not checked that how to use your nail filers, you can check that on my previous videos, and I'm sure you're going to love that technique too. So here what I'm doing is I'm removing all the excessive napkin papers from the sides. Yes, of course, on the sides there are so many teeny paper pieces which has stuck. So we need to trim that down. And once I'm done with it, then we are going to apply one more coat of Mod Podge. And this is the time when I realize that what mistake I have done, that you will be seeing now. So yes, like I always say, we all learn from our mistakes. So yes, this was a good learning for me, that I have to be a little more careful when I'm doing my projects, and a good lesson for you guys that how to use your decoupage napkins on any kind of surfaces and on any kind of bases. So here I'm using my heat gun to dry this up, and yes, if you want you can let it dry for a good amount of time for drying out, but I wanted to save a little time because I had already given half day yesterday for my drying process and all. So I just felt that having my heat gun here is going to help me out. Okay, so I have just done a coat of Mod Podge on the top of it, and I have done a mistake which I realized while doing my Mod Podge work. So as you know that this has 3 layers, this table. So can you see the decoupage napkin line here? It almost like merges with my paper, my base. You can't even make out that there is anything which has been sticked. Can you just, no, it's barely visible, but if you see it here, yeah, you can see the line. Okay, now what mistake I have done is, like here I have removed all the plies of my napkin. Here also I removed all the plies, but in this one I just removed one ply. So still there is one ply which is there, which I did not realize while sticking, because I did not check the back side of my decoupage napkin. And while doing the Mod Podge, I realized that I have forgotten to remove one more ply, and that is the reason I can see this mark. Otherwise, it really just blends with your base. You can't even make out that you have sticked anything whenever you are using your decoupage napkin. So yeah, this is the mistake I have done. Now I cannot change this one, but I will of course try to do a lot of color blending so that I can manage this table well. Now the fun part begins, and this is one of my favorite part of any of my mixed media and decoupage art. So I really love color blending. I love playing around with the colors. So yeah, I absolutely love this part. So here I am using a blue color paint, and I'm going to blend in 2-3 shades here in this. Now if you notice, like when I was trying to remove the excessive paper of my decoupage, I had actually torn off few of the sides, especially like the edges of the flowers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a nice color blending on those parts too. So first I've started with my base color, that's a blue color for my sky effect, and I'm going to blend in my pink color, my peach color, and I'm just going to use varieties of color in this one and try to cover it up as much as I can.
À 2 doigts de nos lèvres, 2 doigts si fins que j'ai presque pu le goûter, le bonheur à sculpter de son ciseau d'enfer, des souvenirs impossibles à effacer. Le bonheur est passé à 2 doigts de nos lèvres, 2 doigts si fins que j'ai presque pu le goûter, le bonheur à sculpter de son ciseau d'enfer, des souvenirs impossibles à effacer.
So after my coloring part, it's time to add my transfer me sheets, and yes, for this I have picked up few cute little butterflies. Of course, all the supplies links are mentioned in the comment section. You can check that. And I'm so sorry about my lighting. Why? Because this is a night time when I'm shooting this video. After each of my techniques, I have given it enough amount of time to dry out naturally so that it dries up really well, and then I can move on to the next step. Now, if you don't know about the transfer machines, they are like super easy technique of doing image transfer. So yes, you just need to remove the plastic film, stick it on your base, dab it with water, remove excessive water, slide it out, and it's done. So this is what you can see me doing here in this video right now. Just in case if you want to check me a few more tutorials, you can scroll down to my channel and you will see a lot of transfer me videos on my channel too. So yes, here we are done, and I'm just pressing this so that this sticks well. And now it's time to do some stamping. Honestly, I wanted to do the script stamping, but then I felt that my honeycomb stamp is going to look a little more better than my script stamp with this kind of theme, and this is how it looks, which I really liked. So I'm really proud of myself that I did my honeycomb stamping work on this table, and this is looking pretty gorgeous. Now for the ink pad, I'm using a permanent ink pad, and yes, like I always mention, all the supplies are mentioned in the comment section. You can check that will be way more easier. And I really feel that I wish when I started crafting, getting the links was that easier. We used to roam around in the market for the supplies, and there were very limited suppliers, so really this is one of the best times to do crafting, because artists like me, we love sharing our tutorials. So here just adding a little more colors to my flowers, and here I am doing a little contrast. So my flowers are mostly in the lighter red and a lot of pink. So I just sort of adding a little more drama with the red color. So just a tinge of color blending. I am not changing the colors completely at all. So yes, they look super gorgeous and beautiful. Again, using my heat gun to dry this out. Now I just felt that I should lighten my background and blend in my backgrounds really well with the blue color and my base color. So here I am using a peach color shade. I will mention all the shade links in the description box. You can check that. And yes, I am doing a lot of blending. Now whenever I do color blending, I add a lot of water to my colors, be it my acrylic paints, be it my chalk paints, be it I have even done the color blending with gessos also. So yes, I add a lot of water to it. That makes it much more easier. So here I'm almost done with my color blending technique. Now of course I needed to add some splasher. So here I'm using a green color paint for splashing, and yes, this is just a very thin part which is not even visible in the video, but when you see the table, actually it looks great. Now I just wanted to make sure that my tables does not look like a perfect painted table. So of course I have adding a little bit of rust and really gives a natural effect to your table. So here what I'm doing is I'm using my brown acrylic paint, and I have added a lot of water to that portion, and here I am just dabbing this on my edges with my paint brushes and removing all the excessive and smudging it with my finger. Do try this technique. I'm sure you are going to love this. Try this technique with any of your dry brushes. Take a tinge of color, apply it, rub it, and take out all the excessive colors, and the kind of pale effect you will have is going to look amazingly beautiful.
À deux doigts de nos lèvres, deux doigts si fins que j'ai presque pu le goûter, le bonheur à sculpter de son ciseau de fer, des souvenirs impossibles à effacer. Le bonheur est passé à deux doigts de nos lèvres, deux doigts si fins que j'ai presque pu le goûter, le bonheur à sculpter de son ciseau de fer, des souvenirs.
So yes, at last here what I'm doing is my varnish work, and once this is done, my project is ready. So I really hope that you all enjoyed this tutorial. Just in case if you guys have any query, please do let me know in the comment section, and please do not forget to subscribe to our channel, and do let me know in the comment section if you really like this video, and do you want us to come up with some more unboxing. Thank you, take care, bye bye.